LeBron already made a decision, the big one, when he went to Miami, the choreographed decision. That was a monster. That was like one of the biggest free agent decisions in league history. And 10 years ago, Durant comes to the Warriors, and that's one of the greatest free agent acquisitions of all time. And the Warriors ride that to 2 titles. I think that's the other part that LeBron, I don't know if he's missing it or not, but he's not who he was when he went to Miami. He's not even who Kevin Durant was when Kevin Durant came to the Warriors 10 years ago. If LeBron James were a younger version of LeBron James, there would be so much more excitement and anticipation than there is now, just because we all know he's 42 and we all know that he doesn't guarantee anything at this point. Doesn't mean it's not exciting at all, but to my way of thinking, it doesn't register to LeBron going to Miami or Durant coming to the Warriors other than the 2 names that will be united, and that's Curry and LeBron James, and they'll get to play together for a year, maybe more, and it sounds like it could be a feel-good story.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there are a ton of people, even around the league. You know, I think one of the reasons why those 2 free agency decisions you just named, LeBron and KD, were so big is because I think there was legit hate or frustration from the actual players in the league. Like you guys are really orchestrating all of this. Like it was cheap, you know. Clearly everybody in OKC had a problem with Durant, but like people looked around, and not just media members but like players saw that move as weak. Yeah, I think there's a lot of players that saw LeBron's move, because at the time, super teams, you know, Boston and whatnot, but players that hadn't won championships in their original location weren't just jumping ship to try and ring chase. That's something that's become somewhat of a more recent term. This isn't ring chasing. You know, LeBron joining the Warriors would not be viewed around the league as ring chasing. I think that's another reason why I'm getting the feeling that people are rooting for him to play with Steph, because at least it could be a good story. It's not as if LeBron going to Golden State, players around the league would say, "Oh, come on, man! Like you're getting that's where you're going to go.
Right?
That's a weak move.
Right?
Nobody's
that's
looking at this
Durant.
like that.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. Nobody wants LeBron James here because they think the Warriors then will win a title. But when they got Durant, we knew they were going to win a title.
At least one.
Plain and simple. Yep. Daryl from Alameda. What's up, Daryl? How you doing?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Yeah, how are you?
First of all, I'm good here in Vegas in this 100-plus degree heat.
Uh-oh. Stay hydrated.
I'm enjoying myself, but
nice.
But definitely want to wish the best for and praying for Mr. Johnson and his family. Pray everything will go well for Mr. Johnson.
Thank you.
And in regards to what I was calling about, Steiny, welcome to the LeBron drama team.
All right.
I've been telling you guys that, you know, being a Laker fan, just tired of all that. Just imagine putting up with something similar to this for 8 years. It gets exhausting. So I'm glad that he's gone. Hopefully he's going to take little Bronny with him, because nobody can take a team serious with Bronny James on the team. I don't care how much money he generates off of jersey sales and playing video games. But, you know, I wish you guys the best. I'm glad that we are, as a Laker, that we're moving forward. I'm not exactly sure I'm endorsing all the moves that they've made, but at least we've got a lot younger, more athletic, and we'll see if JJ can really coach, because I'm not a JJ fan. We'll see what comes of that.
All right, but you're...
anyway, just wanted to give my 2 cents.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Daryl. Appreciate the call. You know, I was gonna kind of ask Daryl to and I can ask somebody else, but first, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco and Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, now broadcasting from the Laughing Monk studio. I would ask this of Laker fans, like Daryl. Okay, so we've seen this for 7 years in L.A. Can somebody tell me what we've seen in L.A.? Like what? I mean, I know he's LeBron James and he draws a lot of attention to himself, but like what specifically has LeBron James done in L.A. that have made fans say, I'm glad we're moving on from LeBron James. You don't want the circus. Like, what is the circus other than the natural media attention that LeBron gets for being one of the greatest players in NBA history?
Well, I think because of that, people naturally crap on the team that he's on if it's not achieving what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he also fuels that because he's made comments in the past about, we got to do more and, we're not in the place we should be. But like in regards to roster construction, like LeBron is a guy that has had so much sway that if a team is underachieving, he is, it's funny, but the last couple of years, mainly before Jimmy Butler was traded for, we would talk a lot about why isn't Steph more vocal about getting help, about trying to put a print on this team of, hey, Mike, or before him, Bob, this isn't good enough. I want to contend for titles. I want to compete for championships, and the players that you've put around me are not good enough. LeBron does that. And he's not afraid to crap on guys in his own locker room if it helps him compete. And I think that might be a part of what Daryl's talking about, the circus of LeBron just kind of finger pointing at people around him.
I mean, let me ask you a serious question. Just the phrase ring chasing.
Yeah.
If LeBron James went to Oklahoma City, that would have to be considered ring chasing, right?
Yeah, San Antonio was a team we also talked about.
Let me ask you a serious question. Do you think either of those teams wanted LeBron James?
Not really.
I don't either.
Not really.
Like, I don't either. And that to me is interesting because, he's still a great player. And I got to believe as a player, as a basketball player and player only, I would think Oklahoma City and San Antonio would look at LeBron James and say, oh, my God, could he help us? The problem is I think when push comes to shove with teams like that, guys like, Sam Presti and Buford and Popovich down in San Antonio, they've probably made a determination the other stuff is not worth it. Like, we can't bring him in here with a zoo, and we're still a young team that are at the top of the league but still trying to improve. I think if he went to New York, that would be considered ring chasing. If he really wanted a ring, I wonder if New York would really want him. Now, I think New York would have more interest in him than San Antonio or Oklahoma City. But, Philly, for as much hype as they have right now, we don't know yet how good they're going to be. I would not consider him going to Philly ring chasing. I think that would happen to be a team that, of the list of teams that he's considering, the 4 or 5, to me, if he goes to Philly, he's saying, of those 5 teams, that gives me the best chance to win. But it doesn't give him a better chance to win in maybe 3 or 4 other cities.
Yeah, I would consider that ring chasing for what you just said.
Would you?
Yeah. I mean, ring chasing is not just you go to a team and they're guaranteed to get a title. It's you're trying to pick and choose which squad gives you the best shot. And Philly automatically does that for a couple reasons. Number one, you have the best starting 5 of the teams that he's supposedly weighing, right? Cleveland, Miami, Golden State, Philly. That's the best squad. That's the best roster.
Right.
Number 2, it's in the East. So he's literally leaving the Western Conference to get to the other side where we just saw a team that not many people would have predicted at the beginning of the year could win a championship, stormed, didn't just win the East. They stormed through the Eastern Conference. And LeBron's done that before. If there's anybody that's familiar with it, it's him. So I would look at Philly as ring chasing. I also do think that Bob Myers is right, even though that's his pitch. It's like if it is about basketball, he'll play for the Sixers.
Yeah.
But I don't think it just is. And that's why probably all these teams are in on it.
This is from the 925. Daryl, meaning the last caller, who was a Laker fan. The 925 says, Daryl is not the only Laker fan that feels that way. LeBron can be insufferable. No defense, no accountability, and overrated as a team guy. Stat patter. No thanks.
Well, along those same lines, so this is from their live taping of Mind the Game podcast.
All right.
Tyrese Halliburton asked LeBron James what his best quality, or his most underrated quality as a player is. What do you think he said?
Being a teammate.
Close. His availability.
Okay.
He's averaged, over the last 8 years for the Lakers, he's played 58 games a year.
That's it?
Yeah.
He's only averaged 58 games a year in his Laker career?
Yes.
That shocks me.
That's not available, in my opinion, as an underrated quality. Let's go through them. 2019, 55 games. 2020, 67. Next year, 45, 56, 54. Last 3 years, 71, 70, 60. He's only played 70 games twice in the last 8 seasons.
All right, in fairness, one of those years was short, right, because of COVID. It was only 65 games.
True. Okay, so
I got you.
Let's give him 62 games a year.
Okay.
And that's, I think maybe in today's game, that's considered available. But you're only playing a quarter of the 3 quarters of the season.
Right, and they already have 5 guys.
But that's how he views himself, as available. Like, in his mind, he is a great teammate. He is available. He does all of these things. And I think that his perspective of himself is what probably enrages a lot of Lakers fans that are chiming in right now.
I could see that. 888-957-9570 is the number. Let's go to Brett. He's in Walnut Creek. Hey, Brett, what's going on, man?
What's going on, boys? LeBron is such a calculated narcissist at heart. I mean, everything's a test move with him. I thought if he came out at the end of the last season and said, you know what, I'll give you a date, July 25th. Everyone, don't bother asking me, like, this is going to be the date. But he didn't do that because I don't think he does know what he wants. I fully believe he may have had intentions of going to the Warriors, but now he loves this little game that's going around about him. It just feeds his ego at the end of the day. And with this being his last dance, per se, he really wants to feed it as much as he can. And it's not going to go away. And I also agree with one of the other callers that said something about getting partial ownership or something down the stretch, because he's not just going to play for $15 million. Anyways, that's my take, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Brett. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I don't know. I think he might have to play for $15 million.
Well, with the Warriors, I don't know if they can. Like I saw on, I think Bobby Marks was talking about this. They might only be able to offer him part of the mid-level. But apparently money's not an issue. Like, that's another part that I'm very interested in. Not necessarily where he'll play, but, and I brought this up yesterday. It's like, so you're telling me that this guy made $52 million and he's going to play for the minimum purposefully. Not because someone tells him that he isn't worth more than 3.5 or 4, whatever the vet min is. But he's going to choose to take nearly a $50 million pay cut. I don't think that's happened in the history of sports. If I'm wrong, someone please tell me. But an athlete has chose, as a max level guy in whatever, or woman in whatever profession, to take a 90% or 95% pay cut to go play for a team where he might not even be guaranteed to contend. That's crazy to me. And I do think that LeBron, to his point, sports narcissist, whatever you want to call him, but he is a calculated individual. He ain't just giving up $50 million. So that money's got to be coming from somewhere. That's why I do think there's got to be something else at play here.
This is where I agree with this texter on the YouTube chat, DN, not financial advice. I completely agree with this. I mean, he's just taking his time to make a decision. It's everyone else who's hating on him during this time. It's not like he's waving it in our face. The media, are waving it in our face. I'd agree mostly, but, like going out to do a live podcast today. Oh, this is what happened on the live podcast. I'm going to squeeze this in. This is how LeBron's live podcast on Mind the Game started today.
Speaking of still doing this, is there a decision that has to be made? We literally talked about this in the back 3 seasons. Okay, my fault. I didn't know if you wanted to. Okay, I'll leave it alone.
All right, so they talked about it in the back. You shouldn't have asked him that.
I mean, it didn't sound like he was mad or anything.
No.
And Tyrese Halliburton strikes me as kind of that like little brother of all these guys.
Yeah.
He's kind of prodding him.